Alright, hey guys, RAs, this is RA Training Fall 2021, and it's our first in-person training since the COVID event. My name is Ana Antuono. I am an assistant hall director here, and I was previously a desk clerk, RA, and senior RAs for those of you who know me. So today we're going to do a really quick session over community building and communication, and then we're going to do a little bit of a longer, more interactive session over programming, pretty much teaching you guys how to set up and start a program, and then we're going to do a mock version so you guys can get used to the feel of things. Can y'all hear me down there? Y'all are good. Y'all may want to take a seat. Just that way y'all can, if y'all need to type anything or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was gonna play a video for you guys about bad communication, but after the multiple restaurants we went to and lunch, I think y'all kind of know what bad communication is. So the first thing I'm gonna ask is who in here thinks they're pretty good at communication? Yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand down to be the first one, because being a good communicator is something that develops throughout years and years and years, and so there are different stages of it. And I don't know if you ever get to a point, let me see if I can turn this down. If we ever get to a point, well, it was all the way up, where anybody is like a good communicator, and it's because everybody has different communication styles. So if you find somebody that has a communication style to you, then you're probably going to be a better communicator with them versus someone who doesn't. And when I'm talking about communication styles, some people need explicit communication. Some people can just read signals, read between the lines. They use that better. So those are just an example of different types of communication. But what we're going to talk about is communication within your community, and how to build that to build a community. The best way to reach out to your students, obviously we've talked about it, is like a group message, a group email, something that can go out that they're all a part of. That way they can talk to each other and you can get important information across. So when we talk about community building, my minimum goal that I've kind of set for myself as an RA is that everybody in the community knows each other. And so years down the line, if they see them, they can say, oh, hey, they were in my hall, they were in my residence life community. Maximum goal, I mean, if they're all best friends, that's obviously like dream scenario, right? That's not gonna happen because people are different, and that's okay, and that's good, we want that. But so I would start out when we're talking about communication within your community, making sure there's a platform for all of them to discuss, just kind of like us in our group meeting. So if you're thinking about your community, it's going to be very similar to our group of RAs because we have a lot of diversity, different floors, different majors, different backgrounds. We are the active students on campus though, so the opposite versus your residence life community is going to be that not everybody is going to be super active and eager to get involved. So you're going to want to focus on ways to get them involved and get communication to them. So when we're talking about community building, one of the best ways you guys can do that as an RA is to ask your community their interests, which obviously ties into the communication part of things because you're going to have to talk to them and not just in a group message. Here, this is when you're going to want to go converse, get your contact logs, your MCCs with your residents, and you're going to want to go talk to them, ask what kind of programs you like, what are you interested in? If you're not an RA and it's just two people talking, you would want to know what you're interested in. And honestly, that's a better way to form that friendship is to not put the job title right there at first, because you are an RA, but that's a good way to break a barrier and let them know you're there for them. So if half the people on your floor are all interested in slime making, and they have this extreme passion for making slime, and all of them we don't know why they all got put on the floor, but they all love that and they express that to you, then obviously what's your program going to be? Slime making. Obviously that's not going to happen. Hopefully, if it does, well, okay. But hopefully that won't be the case. But you're in a floor and shear hall, and a lot of your residents are in the athletic program. What is something that you can do to support them? Because you're going to want to solely, for some programs, solely focus on your community. So what would be an example of how we could do a program to incorporate students in the athletic arena? Anybody have any ideas? Hold an in-face meeting?
No, ultimate frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee. Ultimate frisbee would be good. Something kind of competitive that they could go out and get active in. Another thing that you could do is if maybe like 60% of your students are on an athletic team and the rest of your residents aren't, is hold a supportive program, which Jamie talked about earlier, which is, hey, get your residents together and we're all gonna go support Donald, Trell, and Trace because they're on the football team and there's a game, and let's all go as a group, and that can be a really cool program that incorporates your community, your residents' community, and students maybe that don't know about that. So you're teaching them about sports and athletics, which anything, you're culturing them or you're giving them that experience, but also you're saying, these are 3 residents in your community, you may not know them very well, let's go support them, and then maybe you can get to know them more. So that's kind of a way to pull in the building your community. Same thing if we have a floor of people in color guard. What is something that you could do there for your community? Winter Guard watching party. That would be cool.
Like a DCI, like when DCI comes around or whatever, doing something like that. Like a viewing party for that would be really cool.
That would be very cool. So there are different things. Focus on your community. Each RA is going to be different. You guys are all going to have a different community. Donald's going to have PLC, Emma's going to have honors. They're going to have 2 completely different spectrums. So this is kind of where you as an RA figure out your individual community and your individual communication style with them, because their PLC is going to communicate by yelling down the hall. Honors is going to need something a little more different, if that more specific, more like a group message or something like that, if that makes any sense. So you really have to focus on the individuals in your community and what they like and how to program for them, and not just the whole building. Donald's not going to program, all the time. He may have a few programs in there, but he's not going to program for his PLC and his honors, if that makes any sense. Same thing, Cheer Hall's not going to program for all. You're going to be doing your community, so that your things need to be community specific. And in order to do that, especially for the communities that are like not community centric around one thing, so like the just random residents, you're going to have to figure out, it's going to be a little more difficult, but then it'll pay off because you're going to have that closer connection with them. You're going to have to figure out who likes what is something common that they have together, and that brings them together, which is your whole goal, is to bring your community together, and that also helps you know a little bit more about them. So that's pretty much the communication and community building side of it, but as a team, let's talk about communication, because that's important for us as a team. Obviously, it's the most important thing we have. So I'm going to be the first to tell you guys, not a great communicator. I'd love to say that I can stand up and speak to a room really easily. I enjoy it. I'm out there. That's who I am. When I am flustered, all communication skills go out, which you guys have seen probably multiple times, and I know everyone on campus has seen it via my campus career, because that is how I am, working on it, but I'm still not great. So there are things about communication and everyone's personal communication that are flawed. So one thing that, as I have grown through residence life, that has helped me is self-awareness. And I used to be the one that was like, I'm pretty good at that. I don't really need any help right there, and it's probably their fault. Really focus on yourself, guys. What have I done in that situation? Let's say you miss a shift or you miss a shift change. The RHDs don't know about it. Nobody said anything. What could I have done differently there? Maybe I did tell them. Maybe I was like, hey, I'm Faith is going to take my Tuesday and I'm going to take her Wednesday. And it comes around and they don't know and they're flustered. Maybe I did tell them. And I did rightfully tell them so. And so they should have known, right? But I should have emailed them. So that there are always a part to play in everything. So really work on your evaluation. If you get in like a miscommunication with the RHDs with another RA, what can I do to make this better? And then let's sit down and talk to the other RA. And how can we, because as we know, when things get stressful, when I get flustered, other people get flustered, things just happen really quickly. So can we sit down if there's been a misunderstanding or miscommunication and talk about it and say, this is what I did wrong. I just straight up told you, I should have emailed you, I know you're busy, but I want you to know I did try, I had good intentions. I didn't do the right thing, if that makes any sense. So as we work together as a team in communication, it's really important that we do that. Does anybody have any questions about communicating via a team? We do have Hall Hero on Facebook. That's where almost everything goes. Your door decks and bulletin boards will be posted there. Any important information will be posted there. And then internally we have GroupMe, which all of you are part of. And that's like, oh hey, we're going to be like 15 minutes late, here you know. Which we should have told Faith that we were going to be late. That's a miscommunication on my part, and I'm sorry about that. But I definitely own that because that was me. But those are the ways that we'll communicate via Residence Live. And then we have face-to-face meetings every Monday, but we understand that not everybody can be there 24/7. So that's, if we tell you something there, then it's on us to realize, oh hey, we need to communicate that in a more official way. So it just kind of realizing who your community is. You guys are my community. Y'all are busy, I know that. I can't throw a date at you, and you guys remember that because you have 10 million dates already. So how can I most effectively communicate to you? And you guys have to realize, how can I most effectively communicate to my residents? And then as a team, how can I respectfully and effectively communicate to one another? All right, any questions? I already asked that. I just don't know if I paused long enough. No? Okay, so that is that portion. I need that one to be pretty quick because we've covered a lot of things previously, kind of leading up to that one. Now we're going to talk about programming. Was Spotify up the whole time? That's pretty funny. Okay, so last year we did not have a form to fill out. So new residents and residents here in the past year, this is going to be new. Actually, to every resident, it's going to be new because it's a completely new program. However, we don't have it. Let me just breathe. I'm like hyperventilating up here. However, we don't have it completely fixed with the website. StarRes is what we're going to use to submit our program proposals, get approval evaluations. It's not ready yet because everything's chaotic right now. We're checking in people and moving people, so it's not their main focus right now. We'll have it ready when it's time to program. But I'm going to talk about the programming process with you guys. Even though we don't have that up, but we will train you on that probably in a staff dev. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can even pull it up. I'm not on my email, so I actually won't do that. We'll train you on that part. So each RA is going to get a programming budget for your floor. In the past years, it's been anywhere from like 150 to 300. It just depends on kind of our budget for the year, and we split that up evenly for RAs. Just to program in your community. And we talked earlier, Jamie talked about the different types of programming modules. You've got educational, social, supportive. Is that right? And then we have like the wellness goal and the blue zones that we have to hit. She mentioned that too. So those are obviously going to be what you're programming on. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you have a program, you're going to hit the idea phase. What do I want to do? I know I have a program coming up. Is it an educational program? So you're going to be planning for a goal. If it's, hey, I have this great idea to do origami, and I really wanted to do it, and I applied to be an RA, and that was something that I said, and it's something excited that I want. My residents tell me they love origami, and so that would be planning for an activity. So you can start either way, kind of either way, really. So if you have an idea, you can start with that for an activity, or if you have a goal that you need to plan for, you can do that. So if you're planning for an activity, you just need to identify the activity. Activity is origami. Everybody loves origami in my community. And the next part is identify goals that could be targeted with an activity. So we are Residence Life, and we are programming towards Blue Zones and the Wellness Wheel. So everything that we do, we want that to touch one of those. So something that origami could hit is maybe social on the Wellness Wheel, and educational, because you're learning how to do new craft, you're learning about a different culture that does this craft. So those could be two goals of that hit. So that would be identify goals that could be targeted with an activity. And then for planning for a goal, somebody gave me a goal.
Teaching people about credit cards.
That is an activity, hand me a goal. But that is good, that is a good one actually. That's a good program if anybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Like a goal from Blue Zones or Wellness Wheel, something that was talked about there that we would need to hit.
80%.
No, like a specific,
Yeah, 80%.
no, like emotional, intellectual, physical, social, purpose, or that's Blue Zone. Environmental, like one of the wellness wheels. Let's say we're gonna hit financial, like one of those. So financial would be your goal, right? So we would identify the goal, financial, research the goal and things that you could do with it. That way you know what you're talking about. And then if you guys don't know, there are like so many Residence Life platforms out there that already have 105 programs built on for financial that like you can just take, if that makes any sense. So you can research your goal. So let's say the goal is Caleb, or the activity that we're gonna find is, say the credit card thing. The credit card thing. So then we're gonna list some ideas that could tie into the goal, and this is where you're gonna come into your activity. So what are things that you could do with a credit card? Teaching people about credit cards.
Talk about APR rates and credit scores and how it affects your future.
Talk about that. Maybe something that we could do with that programming wise is everybody gets their like own credit card that we have as Res Life, and we have a little store for like a week, and you swipe your credit card and you get things. And then you could tax some interest on there and be like, oh, so show them kind of how it works. So your credit score is in the 300s because you didn't pay back that candy bar. Things like that. So you could find a program to do with your residents. You could even do like a scavenger hunt where you post a question about like APR, and they answer it, and unlocks the next location. So they're still doing something fun, active that they would want to show up for, and they're hitting that goal. So that you would just brainstorm ideas for the goal, and then you're gonna pick your program. That is kind of the backwork of it, brainstorming. Then you're gonna pick your program. So the first thing you wanna ask is, does it hit a goal? Everything should hit a goal, even if it's social. So if it's, like, I just wanna do this and I don't know what goal it's gonna be, but it's tag. You're gonna talk to people in tag, you're gonna tag people in tag, it's gonna be social. So does it hit a goal? Yes. Is it attainable? If I want to do an amusement park, it is not attainable to rent out 3 roller coasters, or even a roller coaster on campus. So is it something that you can actually do with the budget that you have, the people that you have, and is it something attainable? Will students like it? It doesn't matter if every student on campus likes it, will your community like it? If my community is PLC and they hate being quiet, we're not gonna play the quiet game, right? Is it something that they're interested in coming to? Is it something that they will like? All of these are just questions that you guys need to ask yourself when you're building a program. Who does this program reach? Does it reach your community? Does it reach, Does it reach your community? Does it reach all of campus? Is it a big group program? Who does it reach? And it's okay if it doesn't just reach your community. If you're doing a program with another RA, then that is a group program, and that's okay if it's gonna reach all of Shear, if that makes any sense. But who does it reach? You need to ask yourself that. Is it within budget? Is it within your budget? That's what we're really asking as an RA, and you'll get updated on that. You can ask your RHD, how much do I have left? When you do a program, your evaluation will come with, great program, this is how much you spent, this is how much you have left. If you're doing a group program, or like one of the big programs, we'll probably have a separate budget for a bigger program, and then a group program, you can put your money together and split what you spend. How long will it take to plan? If it's like a huge program and we're talking like multiple aspects, like we're gonna have cotton candy, we're gonna have pizza, we're gonna have to order several things for it, how long is that gonna take? Or is it something that you can do in 2 weeks or not? That's really what we wanna know, because if you're going to host a big program like that, then you're gonna wanna give yourself ample time. So you can't come up with like, I'm gonna host a like 5K on campus for my residents. Like that's something that's gonna take a lot longer to plan, to program, to contact people. So that's what you need to ask is, how long will it take to plan? Because then you don't wanna schedule it for next week. Go for it.
I have a question about planning. If we need to like borrow a place like the football field, how do we go about that?
That will be next.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. Put a pin in that one.
Okay.
Because that's down here. And then, is it an individual RA program or a group RA program? Is it something that can have multiple aspects? If you're gonna do slime making and origami, then like it's a slime making origami night, come hang out, do slime and origami. Those are 2 aspects. So one RA can handle the slime making, one RA can handle origami. And both of you do get points for that program, and there are 2 aspects, but you can't both do slime making on one night, if that makes any sense. If there are gonna be multiple RAs during a program, there could be multiple aspects. You could do pizza and cotton candy, like somebody's taking care of the food part of it, and then we're gonna go over here and do like an educational part of it. Those are 2 different aspects of our program. So you can do that, but is it something you're gonna do by yourself, or is it something with multiple aspects that you might wanna bring other RAs in? So that is the kind of brainstorming behind the work of doing a program. I don't know how to use this. Okay. So the next part is the planning phase. Hosting an event, the program. Create a creative name for the program. This is kind of a big deal because we have a lot of movie night or ice cream night and that's like, as a student, I got tired of seeing like, I don't want to go through another popsicle night or I don't want to go do that. So do something that is attractive. If you're gonna do, let's say we're gonna do Ben & Jerry's ice cream and a pajama party. So you could say like pajama party and you could post it. Or you could do PJs and BJs. Oh, maybe we're gonna talk about sexual health too. Maybe we're going to add in that. This is like a legitimate program that someone has done.
Would it be
That's not
PJs
what I thought you were
doing?
PJs and BJs. So maybe we're gonna bring everybody together in their PJs and we're gonna eat Ben & Jerry's ice cream and we're gonna talk about how to practice safe sex. So that's something that's gonna hit multiple things, but like as a student, if I saw that flyer, I'd be there. Because I'm curious, it's eye-catching, it's creative, I'm curious, let's go. Versus build your own Sunday. You know? So when we do a program, if it's build your own Sunday, let's do ice cream, you scream, res live screams for ice cream. Or something like that. If it's tie-dye and we're gonna do tie-dye, let's do tie diversity. I think you came up with that?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do tie-dye and we're gonna talk about diversity. So we're going to come up with creative names so we don't have a bunch of movie night or as you guys, if you don't know, our movie nights are actually popcorn nights. And if somebody happens to put on a movie, then it's a movie night. But we're gonna advertise a popcorn night where we have to pay for rights. So come up with a creative name for a program. Decide on a day and time for the program. This is one of the first things you wanna do. It needs to be at least 2 weeks away. And I'm saying this for your senior RA and your RHG's sake because you have to submit the proposal, they have to approve it, then we have to get with your senior RA and say it's approved, and then you have to meet with your senior RA. You have to find a time within their week that they're available and you're available, and then you have to post within like a week before your program, you have to post your flyer, and you want everything to be approved and ready to go before you post your flyer. So give yourself 2 weeks of time. Don't just plan a program in a week and it probably won't get approved because we know that's really not enough time. So decide what day and time you want for the program, and that's gonna be one of the things you put in your proposal, which I'll get to in a second. Budget. So you're gonna compile a list of needed materials. If I am doing PJs and BJs, I need 6 pints of BJs and a pack of spoons and condoms. What?
Dental dams.
Dental dam?
You said BJ's.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what that is. And condoms, because we're talking about sexual health. So I would put that down, and what you're gonna do, the best way to do I put cent by cent budget on here somewhere, create a cent by cent budget. You're gonna compile your list, so ice cream, dental jams, condoms, and spoons are my list. Yours may be 10 times longer, or you might just need popcorn. So it's just what you need. And then I'm gonna get on Walmart pickup specifically. You're not gonna order the stuff, but you're gonna type in spoons, and it's gonna tell you price by cent, $2.97, $2.97 per pack of spoons. Each, so you're gonna put down spoons, $2.97, because you only need 1 pack. Ben and Jerry's is like $4.79, I don't actually know. So you're gonna put that, and then you're gonna, in parentheses, 6, and so you're gonna multiply it by 6, and then that's gonna be that cost. Same thing with everything else, pack of condoms, dental jams. And then you're gonna add it together, so that's a cent by cent, so we can see how much is each item, how much is an item multiple, how much would that be, and then how much is the whole thing together. And then you're gonna decide if there's enough time to properly buy items. Like I said, if like your senior RAs, you're gonna have to find a time that works with them and with you to go buy things. So is there enough time for you to do that, or do you have a day? The next planning phase is set up and tear down. How long is this gonna take? If it's PJs and BJs, I'm gonna go put a sexual health YouTube video on. So I need to be there, 15 minutes in advance. And then clean up, I'm gonna throw everything away and take out the trash, so 15 minutes prior. So it's gonna be 7 to 8, but I'm gonna be there at 6:45 to 8:15. Is that good with my time frame? Is that okay? So once you do set up and tear down, you're gonna come up with the marketing plan. This is important because all of this you're going to be submitting in the planning phase. So marketing plan, create a flyer to be posted the week before the program. So the rule that we have, that we've used in the past is 7-3-1. So 7 days in advance, you're gonna post your flyer. 3 days in advance, you're going to maybe email it or knock on your resident's door or text it out. And then the day of, you're gonna text it or knock on your resident's door. Hey, come down, we're doing PJs and BJs. That's a good marketing plan to get all of your residents there. It gives them ample time, notice. We're gonna remind you again because you're college students and you're busy and we get it. And then the day of, hey, don't forget we're doing that. So create your flyer to be posted the week before the program. You're gonna have to submit your flyer to get your program approved. So that's why I said the 2-week thing. That way you can get it approved, you submit it, get it approved, and then have time to print and post them a week before the program. And then prepare the message for your residents to be sent within 3 days prior to the program, whether that's a text message, an email, a knock, something like that. And then when your program actually happens, if you don't have residents there, or you think you might need more, go knock on your residents. So 731. I'm gonna write that down. 731. And then proposal, this is gonna be the approval, this is the big part, you're gonna fill out the forms. So how they normally start is, what date do you want this, what RHD, ARHD do you want it to go to, what's the name of the program, what's the budget, attach a flyer, what goals does this hit. So you're gonna go through and fill out, it's gonna kind of be like a Google form, but it's gonna be in StarRez, and fill out what it does. So it must be submitted a minimum, and I put exclamation points, 2 weeks prior to program. If you can get in there, talk to your residents, find out what they want, and submit it a month before, like, you're golden, we know you're having it, you're coasting through, slowly getting stuff together, but a minimum of 2 weeks before the program. Because the week before, or the week the program starts, within, like, if it starts on a Thursday, that Thursday before, I'm gonna come talk to you guys. Are you guys ready? Have you reserved your room? Have you done this? So we need it approved at that point already, so you guys can move on to those steps. And you must fill out the StarRez proposal as you are going to be trained to do so. Because we'll train you later, can't train you right now because it's not completely ready for you guys. So, once approved, before the program, plan a day and time for shopping with your senior RA. So you're gonna get an email, or you're gonna hop on your StarRez and you're gonna see that it's been approved, thumbs up, text your senior RA. How we've done it in the past, I'm not sure if it'll be the same this way, is each senior RA takes a week and they'll rotate. So like this week's Stag, this week's Donald, this week's Michaela. We're gonna keep doing the same thing. And so you'll get a schedule. You guys will have a schedule of whose week it is. And we may even do like every Wednesday at whatever. So you will have to know that. You're gonna text your senior RA and tell them you need to go shopping. Whether it's like what time, what day can you go shopping this week, or if we already have set days, I need to go shopping with you Wednesday at 3. If that's the set day, repeating every week, which we don't know. That's just a random thing. And do not do it the night before, or they have a right to say no. I can't, like, I have a program in the morning. I don't know how many times I've been told I have a program tomorrow. I have to go now? No. That's why you need to give them and yourself ample time, because I can't blame them for saying no. Because I mean, you guys, that's why we do the two weeks, and that's why I'm going to talk to you a week prior and say, have you done this? Do you have this? Are we ready for this? That way to kind of minimize that, because it does happen a lot because life gets in the way, and all of a sudden you forgot you had all these programs due, and so it happens a lot. That's why I'm going to be working with you guys. But plan a day and time for shopping with senior RA. That's going to be one of the first things. And I'll send this out to you guys so you can check it, and we may add and subtract things as the semester goes. Then the second thing you're going to want to do is reserve a room for the program. This is what Danny, what you were saying. So if it's on campus, like if we're going to use the atrium, the football field, something like that, we're going to reserve that through Mitchell. The football field, I don't know if it can be reserved. Emberson. Emberson. Oh, it's not on this. It's on the form to fill stuff out, and it's on the website if you're going to reserve a room. Let's say we're going to reserve this room for a program. You go on the website under student life, it's on forms and documents, reserve a room, and you would put that, and then there's like an advisor part, you put Morgan or Jamie, whichever your RHD is. So you would reserve the room. If it is a residence hall room other than the gazebo, which you would reserve through Mitchell, you don't have to reserve that if it's approved. We're gonna double check, like we don't have 6 programs happening in the Great Room on one night, obviously. But like if you have that and it's been approved, then we don't have like a reserve room thing for housing. So you guys are good on that if it's in a residence hall. But if it's like in the Union, on campus, front lawn, anything like that, other than football field, I think that's an athletics thing. Then you reserve that one. The next thing is post your flyer. Once you get it approved, that means your flyer has been approved, come up to housing and print that off. We don't want you guys to use your like $15 spending money on that, so come up to housing and you can do it with the color printer for free. And then post them in your community. If it's like a campus-wide thing, post them all across campus, wherever you want to post them, but make sure they're in your community. Plan a time and date to check out any needed equipment. I'm pretty sure that's going to be with me. So if you're having a chocolate fountain, we're going to learn about healthy eating, and we're going to do a chocolate fountain. And we're going to do strawberries, and we're going to talk about like, yes, strawberries are healthy, but chocolate is not. And so we're going to learn how to do a balanced diet maybe. You're going to need that chocolate fountain out of the programming closet that we saw earlier. So you guys are going to plan a time with me. We're going to do the checkout, check-in form. I'm going to get it for you, hand it to you. So you have to plan a time to check out any needed equipment. During the program, have residents check in or sign in. We're trying to do the barcode. If they have the app, you can barcode scan it, just like they'll do with check-ins, which is pretty cool. And then they don't have to do a sign-in sheet. They're checking themselves in. We can see their like what they're attending. They may be able to get like res live points if they attend so many. We're looking at different things to use with the barcode. So if we can get that up and ready to go, which I think we will, then have them scan in. Stay during the entire duration of advertised program. I'm so guilty of this. Several of us are. We host like a 2-hour program for pancakes, and nobody shows up at all, and it's been an hour. You guys can't pack it up and go. If you advertise it for 2 hours, y'all gotta be there for 2 hours. So watch how long you're doing your programs too. If it's a movie night, that's understandable. It's gonna be however long the movie is. But if you're gonna do like I've done like where I've set out candy and everybody builds their own, like it's like a candy shop and candy bags. Be mindful of how long you're gonna have to be there, because you can't dip out 15 minutes into it because you're done and you have 5 people who have showed up and that's all you expected. So stay the whole time. And then clean up your programming area. So with my candy bar, I just, like candy bar, bagged up everything that I hadn't used, threw away any utensils I had used, clean it up like it was before you came. You guys know how to do this, y'all are good at it. So clean up your area. After the program, this first bullet, I will send this out to you guys because I know y'all can't remember all of it. This first bullet needs to be done either immediately after the program or in the morning the next day. Clean and check in all equipment. That chocolate fountain is a sucker to clean. I mean, you gotta dump it and it's just a mess. It's really fun, but it's a mess. When you guys hand that back to me, it better be spotless. We have had people like take those coffee urns and fill them with hot chocolate and not clean them and just throw them in a closet and mold them, and they ruin them. And that's $180 that somebody just ruined. And that's not okay, because that's residents' money that they're spending for us to program. So I want that stuff cleaned and then checked in back to me. So I will probably text you guys, when can you check this in? Is it clean now? Do you need tonight to clean it? And I'm gonna come get it from you. So I will also be working with that, but make sure that you're aware that that needs to be checked in pretty immediately. Take down all flyers. If you hung up flyers for PJs and BJs, it's over. Go through and take them down so we're not clogging up the bulletin boards. And you guys know that it's over. There's no need for them to be yet. And then fill out your program evaluation. Oh, almost something. Fill out your program evaluation. That is also going to be on StarRes. So once your program happens, it'll take you to an evaluation, you'll click on it, and you'll fill out like how many residents attended, what could I do, what went well, what could I do better next time, and it'll get approved by the RHG.
So if we do programs, we have like a sign-in sheet.
So the goal, that is a good question. Typically, yes, we're doing a sign-in sheet because you're buying things and we have to justify, like, we bought it for these people came. Let's say you bought like 15 kits for slime and 5 people came. You're also, when you turn that stuff in, you're gonna turn in those extra 10 things that we didn't use, because then we can use that for a different program when we also have the material. But we can see via the sign-in sheet, to answer your question, the residents check in with the barcode, we're hoping that takes the place of it. But if we don't have it ready, then yeah. Yeah, so any other questions about filling out a program?
If we don't get the barcode, can we just QR it? Like just make a QR code, cause it's the same thing.
Yeah, when I did last year,
It is.
I used a QR code just linked to Google form, so they could still sign themselves in, but it's more accessible now.
Yes, you can do that, you just have to have, like, be able to show everyone, like, this is who came, this is who signed in, you can do a sign-in sheet. The reason we're doing a barcode is the barcode, like, we get the barcodes from StarRez, so like you'll get it with your program and it goes directly to StarRez and adds it to their account. So we can't do a QR code like that, but if you wanted to have your own separate thing, if we don't have the barcodes, and you can use a QR code for them to sign in, and then you can screenshot that or add it all, compile it into a list and send it. But yes, you can do that if we don't have the barcodes, which do go straight to StarRez, and that's why they're there. Any other questions about programming?
Are they still pretty conservative about the naming conventions? I mean, could you realistically get away with like the BJs and PJs at this
You
point?
could. So, obviously your programs are gonna be approved and your name is gonna be approved on that. So BJs and PJs is a real program, it got approved, there have been several, there was one that was like blueberries and blue balls or something like that. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Michaela?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, that had to do with blue balls.
Condom suits.
Condom sets, like
Condom
those
sets.
have gotten approved. It's punny, but if you're gonna go like wildly inappropriate, use your good judgment. We're not gonna have like, F this, let's go get ice cream. Like that's not gonna be something, you know?
Yeah.
And so use your, like there's like punny and haha, and then there's, okay, that's absolutely inappropriate. But, so kind of use your common sense. But like PJs and BJs has been approved before.
Okay.
I think it would be approved again.
Cool.
Okay, anything else? Y'all good? Okay, so that's a little bit about programming, so we should be good.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Yay.